it up, you want to give us a little overview of what the DCU's Brave and the Bold is?
Okay, so Brave and the Bold is basically a Batman family
Hmm.
um, pilot, I guess, should we say. It's based on a
Hmm.
comic book series run, and this is the Bat family. We have a few Robins by this time. We have, Jason Todd. We have, Nightwing. We have we have the new son of Batman, and this
Okay.
was just kind of like the story told, kind of like their coming of age of one of the new Robins, and a lot of people were criticizing this because while people are kind of tired of the whole origins,
Yeah.
make a Batman origins, a lot of people were kind of saying, kind of like the same vibe with the Legacy. It's like, are you doing too much? And that's kind of what's thrown into this the Brave and the Bold, because that's, you're introducing like the whole Bat family in what go, and that's a lot of material for normies. But yeah, they said that that's going to be the Batman that's going to go first.
Yeah. As a normie myself, I have no idea what you're talking about. But it sounds great. That's actually not true. I know about the Batman family, familiar, very outskirts familiar. But this is Andy recently making, I guess on an interview. Let's hear what he has to say. I want to hear your comments in the chat. As you know, Muschietti directed the Flash. Unfortunately, I think a lot of what he directed was, he was never going to come out of it a winner. I
No.
got to tell you. I got to tell he really died on his own on his shield, man. But you know what? That's a different argument. Let's get to this. Not that long, about 27 minutes, 27 seconds.
Ideas originales. Estoy ahora escribiendo una peli de ciencia ficción que me gustaría hacer. Y posiblemente lo de Batman, como te estaba diciendo antes, es un proyecto que se ha postergado un poco.
Sí, claro.
Entonces por ahí mete una película en el medio, que puede ser esta. Que es una peli chica, tiene un desenlace un poco más grande. Ideas originales.
Okay, let's translate that for our audience, guys.
Yeah,
Let
so basically what he's saying is that he's uh, talking about like the Batman movie. He says that it's going to be a smaller kind of movie, but it's going
Mhm.
to be some, like, basically some movies like in between. Uh,
He's
and
doing some non-Batman movies in between.
yeah, so it looks like it's doing some, but also it could be so he's talking a little bit of slang in here, so it could be saying like he's either making another like another Batman before this one or something in between. It's not really clear on this, at least in this interview, and this question, this seconds that was played. So, but he did say that he's working on on something that's going to be not as big. So I guess he's maybe hinting that is not going to be as huge of an ordeal that he had maybe with the Flash, since they have like the
Mm.
Flash backdrop and stuff. And thank you
Right.
guys in the chat. It was Damien. I keep forgetting his name.
Mhm.
Damien is a cute. He's like the son of Batman with like a ancient ninja clan, the Ra's al
Yeah.
Ghul stuff. So it's cool. So it's like it's Batman, little Batman ninja. You know.
Okay. All right. So this, if it's gonna happen, it's not gonna happen for a while. That's how I took.
For that's yeah,
That's
definitely
how I took it. Right.
right.
He's trying to. I think he also caught himself.
He did, because
Mm.
he's given up, like, because when he said it, I felt like he said, "Vamos a hacer uno like un poquito de esta peli."
Mhm.
So and then he said corto, which is short,
Mhm.
but almost saying like, okay, this is gonna be like a more contained thing, but there's things in between, is what I got from it. So maybe what he's, because there's been I think it's been a shift in the DCU,
Mhm.
coming with James Gunn. So we don't know how much of this is from that, because as we know, even the Superman changed. Things happen on that. Now it's no longer Legacy. Now it's just Superman. And
Hmm.
now, we'll talk about the other part of the DCU probably a little bit
Yeah, we're gonna
about
bring that up.
those news
Hmm.
from that.
Right.
So a few things have shifted. A lot of things, a few things have been announced. So with this, it's almost like I wonder if he was like, "Hold up!" If somebody's in his ear going like, "Hold up," maybe don't spill so much, you know?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I feel for the guy. I
Oh yeah,
feel
he
for the
looks
guy.
tired, bro.
Well, he's got the. I think he's got the natural sleepy eye look. That yeah, but he
Ugh.
does look cansado, cansadito a little bit. Let's listen to it one more time. See if you pick up on anything else before we shift to some other crazy DC news. Um,
Hay ideas originales. Estoy ahora escribiendo una peli de ciencia ficción que me gustaría hacer. Y posiblemente lo de Batman, como te estaba diciendo antes, es un proyecto que se ha postergado un
Sí,
poco.
claro.
Entonces por ahí mete una película en el medio,
mhm,
que puede ser esta. Que es una película.
mhm,
So he's kind of saying he's working on a sci-fi feature,
yeah.
right? And with the
Mhm.
Batman, it looks like it. There's going to be one before the Batman, so it looks like it got pushed out,
Right.
right?
Um, all of a sudden, they're obviously DCU and or DC, films universe, whatever. It's in the forefront. Got the success of the Penguin. You got the success of the Superman trailer, whether you liked it or not. Huge response. They're on a good footing, I believe. But this is kind of a mess
Yeah, big time, big time. It
because
does feel that way.
the Penguin made the Batman more interesting for people like me. I didn't like, the first one, the Batman. But now with the Penguin, what it did was it made me enjoy the Batman a little bit more. And now there's a lot of anticipation for the Batman 2, but also 2 Matt Reeves is resistant to making it part of the universe of Superman and James Gunn. That should have been worked out when James Gunn took over with Peter Safran. That should have been worked out already. Why is that coming up right now, Fletch?
I think it's mostly because a lot of people kind of like uh, started talking about this again because
Hmm.
um, they because basically it was thought that Gunn was gonna remove everybody's take because
Hmm.
Muschietti already was supposed to do kind of like a Brave and the Bold supposedly
This was on the
even before,
books. This
right?
was on the
Because that's
books.
yeah, correct. But it
And
was my
and
understanding was going to be with Michael Keaton.
my understanding was that it was also a gift to Muschietti for enduring the Flash and all that drama was that we're going to give you Batman Brave and the Bold. That's because that's what he wanted to do. That was what I had heard.
Right. I just heard that, since Keaton was, because remember, it was Keaton was supposed to do the Flash, then he's
Mhm.
supposed to do Batgirl, and that was
Mhm.
going to start bringing up the Bat family, and then it's going to be Brave and the Bold, meaning the Bat kids, into it. And that was kind of already set out. And then it was a little bit of Gunn bringing back Machete into the fold recently, just not too long ago,
Mhm.
and so
Mhm.
now we're talking Brave and the Bold again because he said, okay, that's one thing that he was maybe excited about or liked. So yeah,
And now this is trending.
yes,
This is trending. Batman 2 delayed
yep,
to October 1st, 2027. 7.
2027,
7.
yep,
That's over 2 years away
hmm,
from today.
yeah,
Correct?
yeah. I mean, it's part of
Wow.
the whole thing is that it was supposed to be released October 2nd of 2026. You know, and this just pushes us, one more year, and it just there's a big frustration on this because a lot
Mhm.
of scenes were shot already on this, from what I heard.
Mm.
Because they did, remember they filmed like the penguin and all stuff, and then they had two other projects from the Batman universe in this one, which is Gotham Knights, supposedly some kind of Gotham Knights, which it was
Mhm.
a period police drama and thing, and then another project that I don't even remember what it was, but it was another project that they had worked on it, and then of course we had the Penguin. And when James Gunn just came out and said that there is going to be like a horror movie style of the Fly of Clayface, people are going, okay, so you're doing the almost like the failed Sony Spider-Man universe, because you're doing Penguin, then you're doing Clayface, or you're doing like Rogues Gallery first and then bring him into the Batman. There's a lot of speculation, but this just kind of shrinks the heart of a lot of fans that really
Sure.
like the Batman, because
Mhm.
for one, there's no jumping up from the hype of Penguin unless we know that Penguin season 2 is greenlit or not, which we haven't heard yet.
Mhm.
So we do
Right.
know there's a Clayface. So is it going to tie to that? Oh,
Well, is it all gonna tie in?
right.
Because of the success of the Penguin, and then you got this you got Superman. Superman has to be a big hit. Um, mm, and okay, so okay, let's back up. So let's say that Gunn and Saffron has put down a mandate. It all has to connect. We're gonna take an extra year and clean up all the writing, clean up all the scripts, right? That are kind of connected to to all these characters. If that's the case, I'm cool with the delay. But Fletcher, if this is going to continue to be like some sort of family dysfunction that has been going on for like well over a decade, then you're going to turn a lot of people off. Because
Yeah.
right now you got a lot of goodwill, you got a lot of enthusiasm with the Penguin and with Superman. Um, yeah, Gunn needs to get this all in order, and that's
Yeah.
another thing. Gunn technically was super busy with filming Superman. Now maybe he's had some time to take a break. And they're still probably in the the last few months of post that him, Saffron, and Reeves can sit down and get this together, man. You know,
Uh, yeah. I mean, it just feels like you said it's a bit discombobulated.
hmm
It's starting to feel a little wobbly, because at first it's like, oh, I'm scratching everything, and now you're like, well, now I'm picking back up, you know,
mm-hmm.
and that's it just feels a little disheartening, because we thought he was gonna come in, he cleaned house already, and then he's like, okay, I think what happened, what we speculated, that the Matt Reeves universe derailed, in a sense, the
mm.
DC universe, is what I feel.
Guns DC.
Yes, I feel the Matt Reeves universe, now they have to because remember, back in the days, James Gunn said that the Matt Reeves universe was going to be an Elseworld. In DC Comics, they don't have What If, they have the Elseworld, which is, it's almost like a different realm. What if Batman was in Gothic London with fighting Jack the Ripper? What if Batman was in feudal Japan? So all these kind of Elseworlds,
Oh, sorry.
timelines. No,
hmm
and so you're like, okay, so it's not going to be connected to the main universe. But now then he's saying, oh, it's gonna be connected somehow. And now we're getting like, oh, Clayface is gonna be in it, and
hmm
but they're already shooting Supergirl.
Well,
And
begins shooting, and
yeah,
yeah.
Well, they're supposedly they're doing. They have like principal photography like already in part. So uh, it's
I
like
I
who
don't
knows?
know. From the statement, it said that it starts shooting next summer, but that's
Then
pretty deep into production. I mean, that's basically
right,
around the corner. So they're in deep pre-production. Either way, it's happening, right? With
yeah,
Millie Alcock, right? Hmm.
yeah, yeah. Little
Ah,
wafer girl.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah, she's little.
wafer girl. We go from thick Latina Supergirl to wafer.
Both are good
Blonde.
actors, though.
Wait, they're good actors, and
Mhm.
just saying, it's like, well, maybe give her a sandwich, a little fish rather. Uh, but yeah, well, this thing is going.
Now I'm
This
getting
is going
hungry.
crazy.
Now I'm getting
Ah,
hungry. Now I'm getting
nice.
hungry.
Well, you got to suffer too, because I haven't eaten yet either.
Yeah, so maybe there's also spacing things out, right? So next year you have Superman. And then what's the following? 2026. What are you gonna have? You're gonna have some stuff on Max, and then the
Yeah.
27 you have the Batman. Maybe also too, if they're pushing it back, that means they're taking more care with the writers of the Penguin and this Batman 2 to all be cohesive as one big storytelling. So that's a lot, man.
Well, that
That's a
that
lot.
is a lot. I mean, you have a whole lot of stuff that's happening, and
Hmm.
it's a lot for one person to kind of get it together.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, he's got a lot of stuff, and plus he's doing still like in production with Peacemaker,
Right.
and plus
Peacemaker,
all the
Creature
anime.
Commandos,
Yeah,
um, what do you say, Clayface?
yeah. So that's the one that
Mhm.
was greenlit. Supposedly,
Right.
it's a horror standalone Clayface.
Hmm. Hmm.
And said the people are saying it was going to be akin to The Fly,
Hmm.
and but people are yeah, it's we never saw a Clayface like this, so interesting to have an indie horror of DC. And
Yeah.
Gunn has said that he wants to do stuff that's for kids but also for adults. So
That's
yeah,
smart. That's smart.
I I do think that the Reeves verse brought in some new blood
Mm.
to the DC universe, because it brought in that Twilight audience that I don't never underestimate the Twilight owner, because I literally had friends that even drug
Mm.
me to see those horrendous things, and I was like, "Why are we going to see this?" And I don't know. It's just I'm telling you, and Cousins, that Twilight universe is no joke. They have serious
Interesting.
fans of that.
Interesting.
Um, so those people came into the Batverse, and you saw the jump,
Hmm.
because it was even on the fandom, it was very mixed, and but
Hmm.
for the it brought women into the Batverse, so
That's
that
true.
was very interesting
That's true.
on that.
Well,
And so
so
you
you're
do
saying it
have
brought in
that.
a new generation of people.
I
That's
did
cool.
say it.
That's
I think it brought in a new generation of fans into the Batman universe, and then with the Penguin, I think you built on that also, because I think a lot of new female fans enjoy the Penguin, because it
yeah.
had as it wasn't woke according to everybody that saw it, but it had really strong female characters that a lot of people loved. So building the DC women brand, that could be something that Marvel has been trying to do for a long time and hasn't succeeded in it ultimately with the new stuff. But
Hmm.
from the get go, having DC get that market, some of that marketing will be really good. But there's a
Yeah.
lot of stuff coming up.
Listen, with the Penguin, Romy and all her girlfriends, they all saw it,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They're
and
bringing
like
in a
they
different
loved
thing.
it. They loved it.
Right.
To them, it's almost not a comic book.
Yeah.
It almost passes off as a mobster drama, action drama.
Right, and that's
Yep.
bringing in new people into the fold, because
Totally.
people that would never watch a comic book
Hmm.
movie got brought in. So I
Hmm.
think Gunn is kind of seeing that. It goes, can we get, because he wants to do adult stuff on
Hmm.
DC.
Mm-hmm.
And DC's known for that. It was always like between DC and Marvel, DC always did the more adult stuff in the comic books. So having that, you would say makes sense, especially if you're bringing in an audience. But that's where I think
Mm-hmm.
the whole clash in between the DC, the Gunn verse, shall we say, and the Reeves verse. I think this is where the clash is happening in the background, maybe with producers or funding, because
Mm-hmm.
they're
Mm-hmm.
saying, no, there's money here. There's money in them hills, as I would say.